Hello, welcome back to the Intern's Oddities. Now, sorry I wasn't here last week. I recently moved into a new house and I am still trying to get that all set up and taken care of. I have been very busy with that. But, so this one is probably going to be a bit shorter, but I wanted to give you an idea for what I'm going to be looking into very soon. So, not to get too, political per se, but I have been researching different revolutions throughout history, and I think I would like to do a few episodes on some potential revolutions. So the first one isn't necessarily a revolution, but it was rooted within a bigger revolution. So I would so I would like to start there. Well, I don't know if I'm going to start there when I do the little episodes, but for this little description, I'm going to start there. And so the first one I wanted to tell you that I'm planning to talk about soon is going to be the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, this is described as a Cold War confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union, and while it says it is not a revolution, however, the crisis was rooted in the Cuban Revolution of the 1950s. Now, a brief little overview. The Cuban Revolution was a political and military overthrow of the dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista in 1959. The revolution led to the rise of Fidel Castro, a communist revolutionary who aligned himself with the Soviet Union. And the United States rejected aid requests from the Cuban revolutionaries. And after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, Castro turned to the Soviet Union for protection. The Soviet Union provided Cuba with nuclear weapons, which were secretly installed in Cuba in 1962. The discovery of the missiles by the U.S. intelligence led to the Cuban Missile Crisis during the Cold War. And the crisis brought the world close to nuclear war because they were trying to hit everyone with nukes. Let's just call it what it was. They were trying to hit a bunch of people with nukes. So that's why that may have been a turning point in the Cold War. And many people say that they believe that it strengthened President Kennedy's image. Yep, JFK. So with the JFK files that are supposed to be releasing fairly soon, I feel like this would be a good time to discuss the Cuban Missile Crisis and maybe how he reacted to it as I dig a little deeper into this and get some more details on this. Because I feel like I have a vague understanding, but I definitely want to dig a little deeper and get some more, some more details on this. Because this one has always been pretty interesting to me. Because as you're probably aware by now, I'm a big fan of the Metal Gear Solid series, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, the Cuban Missile Crisis was a big part of that. So I've always been interested in that. Now, another one that I would like to talk about coming in the coming weeks is the American Revolution. No tax without representation, the Boston Tea Party, all that stuff. So I'm not going to get too far into it right now because I'm just trying to give you a brief overview of some stuff I'm going to cover in the future. So we'll do a brief summary here. And this was basically like when they were taxing us on our tea and stuff, and we got upset and we're like, you can't tax our tea. And, you know, I've been wondering about this for a long time now because that was a big part of it. Um, but if we did all that because they were taxing our tea, why are we not revolting now? Look at what's going on around us. They tax our tea, our watches, our phones, our groceries. They tax the very food we eat on a daily basis. They tax our income. The government isn't out here working half our job, so why should they get half our pay? Like, that's not fair. But not trying to go on a rant, just pointing that out. That I find it very odd that we went on all this because they taxed our tea, and now they tax our tea and everything else, and we're just like, whatever. We're just cool with it now? But, anyways, so the independence of the United States of America from Great Britain was one of the biggest achievements of the American Revolution. And we were also able to accomplish the dissolution of British America, the formation of British North America and Spanish Florida. We were able to see the end of the First British Empire. It began the Age of Revolution. The world's first federal republic was founded on the consent of the governed, and the first permanently successful overthrow of monarchical colonial rule. The first one, really. And supposedly this was 1765 to 1783 that the American Revolution covered. And I think that's enough for today because there's a lot in this. It involves George Washington and, a bunch of stuff. But I'll get into that in a future episode very soon. This is just to give you an idea of some stuff to expect in the near future. And then the last thing that I would like to talk about in the near future is one of my favorites. One of my all-time favorites. This was they built the guillotine for this. This was one of the reasons why they built the guillotine, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, let's just get into it. Because they made a musical called Les Mis, and I love it. And that was probably, realistically, that was probably my introduction to the French Revolution. And it got me really interested. And, some of the stuff going on in the world right now. Yeah, we might see something similar to this pretty soon. So I feel like it's important to study this. Now, the French Revolution was a period of political and social change in France that lasted from 1789 to 1799. It was a series of events that led to the overthrow of the monarchy and the establishment of the First Republic. It caused economic hardship, corruption of royal officials. The reasons for the French Revolution included economic hardship, check. Corruption of royal officials, check. Inequality in French society, check. Discussed with the French aristocracy, depends on who you are. And economic policies of King Louis the 16th. Now, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like a lot of these have been checkmarked in a lot of the stuff that is going on in societies right now across the world. There's a lot going on right now, like the stuff going on in Syria. They just got a new leader over there recently, and it's kind of, the whole world has their eyes on Syria right now, watching how they're going to handle this, how this new leader is going to do, how it's all going to work out. Now, some of the results of the French Revolution was the beheading of King Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette. Nice, nice. The establishment of the First Republic in 1792. Okay. The rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. I really don't know very much about him. Maybe we could do an episode on him at some point in the future. I would like to learn more about him. All I really know is he was short and he was very, very angry about it. But anyways, another result was the influence of democratic constitutions worldwide, the groundwork for the modern concepts of civil rights, and on the United States specifically, the French Revolution influenced U.S. politics, and the United States had to establish a policy of neutrality to avoid being drawn into European wars. We might be in a European war pretty soon if you've kept up with some stuff, and I'll just leave it at that. But the legacy in France, the French Revolution is a symbol of the nation's commitment to individual freedoms, human dignity, and justice. I like it. I can dig it. And we will get some more into that in some of the coming episodes. And I would also, at some point in the near future, I would also like to discuss the rise of, well, I've been told that YouTube might strike us for using certain words, so I'm going to have to be very careful about how I word this. But at some point in the near future, I would also like to discuss the rise of certain political ideologies and how those particular ideologies led to the mass genocide of certain races of people. And I've been looking into this for a few months, and to give you a little teaser, one of the big things was this person that I'm going to speak about. And by the very fact that I'm not mentioning this person's name, um, that rhymes with Stifler, the dude from American Pie. Yeah, I'm going to do an episode about him. But no, you get where I'm getting at. So that alone should tell you how serious that is. Um, but interestingly enough, one of dude's biggest campaign promises that he ran his entire campaign on was he promised that he would fix the German economy. That was one of his major campaign promises, is he said he wanted to fix the German economy. And when he started doing some of his let's say more violent actions, people started his own German people started to get upset with him, and they were like, "Hey, you're not just doing it to that particular race of people, you're also doing it to your own Germans as well. Like, why are you doing this?" And so he just conveniently decided to relocate his camps to places outside of Germany, so that people would stop questioning and stop asking so many questions. So that's something interesting that I'm going to have to be very careful about what words I use and how I phrase certain things when I try to talk about that one. But I would also like to dig a bit deeper into that. So I will try to have everything up and running better next time. And this will be the last episode that we do here. And the next episode will be in my very own house. And I will have a lot more information for you. Thank you for coming to hang out. And as we always say over here, stay uncanny.